Local presentation of Read About It is made possible in part by a grant from Cox Communications of Oklahoma City, proud sponsor of this effort to promote reading, education, and literacy in our community. The following public service program is brought to you by the Metropolitan Library System. And now, Read About It with your host, B.J. Williams.
We have a great show for you today, including a talk with Voncille Shipley, who will be telling us about her latest book, Land of Sun and Flowers. But first, Susie Beasley is going to talk with Stacy Schrank about a book he really enjoyed.
Stacy, tell us a little bit about A Bend in the Road by Nicholas Sparks.
Well, Susie, it was a wonderful book. It was a real story book. It's one of those where Nicholas really draws the reader into the story and takes you on the journey. And it's sort of a romantic mystery book. As you get into it, you get to feel the characters in the book. You get to see the journey that they're going on. This book centers around a man who has recently lost his wife in an accident.
So how does this differ from some of other books by Nicholas Sparks?
Well, this is my first Nicholas Sparks book, and although I know that he has other books that are out, I have not read the other ones. I know that he is known as a storyteller, and I think that's evident by his books being made into movies. I know Message in the Bottle was a major motion picture. Mm-hmm. And he really, I think, just really wants to tell a really good story.
So his characters kind of draws the reader in and kind of sets itself up for you'd say a good journey?
It does. And it kind of, you don't know where that journey is going to take you. When you think you have it figured out, right, he kind of takes you down a different road, mm-hmm, and you're like, wow, I never saw that coming.
Right,
and
so he's not predictable.
No, not at all.
And that's really good in a writer too. So A Bend in the Road comes to the, I guess you said, to the reader with a lot of surprises.
It does. And it takes you on sort of a romantic relationship as this man is starting to explore the dating scene once again after losing his wife, and he has a young son, and it's just a wonderful, lighthearted story, right, with a twist of mystery. I don't want to give it away, but it really does help the reader to identify with the characters, and I think that we can all identify with losing someone that we love, and that process of going through and finding someone to take that place. Mm-hmm. And because he lost his wife in an accident, right, he's a police officer, and so he's looking for answers to that process. Right. So.
Well, Stacy, we really appreciate you coming and sharing with us A Bend in the Road by Nicholas Sparks. And this is available at your local library and perhaps your local bookstore.
Great.
I know it is wet, and the sun is not sunny.
Hi, my name is Jose Jimenez of your Metropolitan Library Commission. You know, most experts tell us that if you just spend 20 minutes a day reading to your child, you're not only building a bond that lasts a lifetime, but you're also preparing that child to learn how to read. Check with the experts at your Metropolitan Library for suggestions on just the right books for you and your family. And visit us at our website at www.metrolibrary.org.
Levita Dent is back to tell us about something that looks and sounds exciting. I mean, it sounds like a really big thing is going to be happening in February, isn't it?
I have two words for you. Okay. Sweet biscuits.
Oh, okay.
That's what's happening. Now, we have one of our favorite touring groups, Rhythmically Speaking, is going to tour and do a Black History Month celebration tour for us. Mm-hmm. And they're calling their show Sweet Biscuits. Uh-huh. And it's about the development, the history behind the black towns of Oklahoma. They're were 50 of them, as many as 50 of them at one time, but now there's only 13 left. But this is a story in how Sweet Biscuits becomes a story about towns in Oklahoma. You'll just have to come to the show to find out.
Well, I'm guessing that there were a lot of Sweet Biscuits cooked in those
I would
towns.
imagine.
Now, this is something that's actually going to be at all of our libraries, isn't it?
At the majority of them. There's shows start February 8th all the way through the 26th of February. So if they just go on our website, they'll find the schedule and find the times and places they can get to see the show. They should really enjoy it.
And that's www.metrolibrary.org, and they just need to go to the calendar, I think it is, and you can go to any of the libraries.
That's right, and you can look at the system calendar where you see everything going on all over the system, or you can select a library and just look at what's going on at that library. If you want to go to a library close to you, you could try there first and see when they're having it.
Now, is there going to be a charge to hear?
No, this is a free show. This is courtesy of the Oklahoma Arts Council and Friends of the Metropolitan Library System. So
really neat. Now, do they want people to register in advance so they'll know how much of a crowd, or can you just show up?
if you're bringing a large group, you might let them know so they can be expecting that. But for the most part, this is the kind of show we just want anyone and everyone to be able to come to. So we set the rooms up that way.
Well, that sounds great. So that is the major thing that's going on in February, and something that we want everybody to be sure and check out. But there are a few other things that we've got our usual story time and that sort of thing.
Our usual story times. We also have several libraries are doing their parent-child workshops that parents with children 0 to 3 might check out.
And of course, they can also check out books while they're there. I have to put that plug in.
Exactly. Kids books, adult books, whatever your pleasure is.
Right. Now, for the parent-child things, is that something that you need to register for?
Yes, there is some registration and information that you need to gather when you pre-register. So that one you do have to pre-register for, but it's a fun time to take your little one to and have some play time, and also have some community resource people there to ask questions.
Great.
Too.
Thanks, Levita, for telling us about Sweet Biscuits. Be sure and check your local library and see when you can visit. Coming up next is Kids Corner. I will be talking with Heidi Johnson about several books, actually, for our very youngest readers. It looks like you brought a couple of books just for the season.
Hi, BJ. Yes, I sure did. The first one is A Christmas Like Helen's, and it's about a very traditional type of Christmas, and sort of the perfect, ideal Christmas time. Relatives come to visit. Actually, it's a story of the author's grandmother. When she was a little girl, her name was Helen, and that's why it's called Christmas Like Helen's. And it talks about, having horses and sleighs and visiting with the relatives and sitting around the fire and telling stories. And what really appealed to me is the illustrations. They're really wonderful, and for woodcuts, they're very detailed. And then also, it reminded me of being a little girl myself and having some of these types of Christmas where all the relatives would come and share the Christmas season. So it's a very beautiful story, very heartwarming.
Yeah. Well, and it takes place on a farm, which is what I think we all think that's where we all came from, was a farm.
And this is how Christmas should look like.
Yeah.
Right.
There should be cows in the barn, and you should go on a sleigh ride with your own horses and that sort of thing.
Yes, and make a midnight trip to church to listen to Mass and huddle up underneath the blankets. So you're right.
And you're right, it is beautifully detailed, and it even goes into, really, you can get a little bit of a feel of what a farm is like, because they talk about a barn raising.
Right, and it also talks about the cycle of the life on a farm, and that winter really is the rest period where you get ready for all of the activities again. So it's a very beautiful Christmas story, so I think everybody should enjoy it.
Yeah. Even the adults can look at the really gorgeous pictures and get something out of it.
Now, talking about getting a chuckle, this is the Christmas book to get a good laugh, which is a story of a little rabbit and his mom who knits him a hat for Christmas. he thinks it's such a wonderful idea. He wants all of his friends to have hats for Christmas. So his mom and him go out and on the slide take measurements of everybody, and then they put their own very creative touches on this. Everybody gets their hat. That keeps them dry as the snow starts to fall and things get wet outside. And everybody is tickle pink with their hats. They're all very individualistically tailored just for them, for their needs. And
Some of them I think out of the Arabian Nights, but really gorgeous.
very gorgeous.
Well, thank you, Heidi, for telling us
You're
about these
welcome.
great books. And you can find them at your library and your favorite bookstore. With me now is Darlene Browers from the Downtown Library, and she's here because something really interesting is going to be happening at the Downtown Library, right?
Oh, yes. Among many other things.
Well, yeah, of course, there are always interesting things going on at the library, but you're here about something really special.
Yes. For the first time, we're getting to participate with the American Library Association in presenting a Read and Discuss series. And we are using the material from a series designed by ALA called Jewish American Literature. And the theme for the whole series is changing her mind. All of the books are related to the relationships between fathers and daughters, and it also introduces us to the Jewish culture over a span of many years through the novels. Mm-hmm. And we want to invite everybody to come and enjoy this. It's a 5-month series.
How often do they meet?
They meet once a month on the fourth Thursday evening at 7 o'clock. And we'd certainly like to invite everybody to come. I do have some introductory material if people would like to call. These are essays that were written by a scholar, and gives a little bit of an introduction to what we're going to be looking at and talking about, and an overview of the book. And so it sort of helps a person get started when they're reading the book.
Now, can you just show up, or is this something that you need to call and register for? Do you need to purchase the books?
Anyone is welcome to come. If you can call and register with us, that would help us just be prepared and make sure we had enough materials, but anyone would be welcome. If you do call ahead, we can give you the preparatory material and the list of books to be read. Perhaps a few instructions on how to get to the correct room and place where we're going to meet. They can call me at 606-3878 anytime they have questions. I do have books that I can check out to them if they can't locate them other sources or have them on their own library shelf.
Mm-hmm. And there'll be somebody there to sort of moderate the discussion.
Yes, we are very fortunate. We have a vivacious, well-trained, interesting young lady who is a doctoral student at the University of Oklahoma in literature. Her homeland is Israel. She has spent several years studying here in the United States. She's going to be our scholar and will give us an introduction each evening and help lead our discussion.
Thank you very much, Darlene, for telling us about this. And be sure and check it out. You can call the Downtown Library to get more information, or just show up on the
fourth Thursday evening of each month, starting in January.
Thanks, Darlene. Coming up next, we have M.J. Vandeventer of the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum. She'll be talking with Joan Gilmore, a columnist for the Journal Record, about a book that she really enjoyed.
Joan, so nice to have you back on Read About It.
Well, you're always so sweet to call, and I'm lucky that I have a book at hand when you do.
Well, and I'm lucky that you always say yes.
I'm too much of a ham not to.
Oh. You know, usually we talk about fashion because we both have such an interest in that and a long history of covering fashion, but today we're going to talk about something else, Oklahoma. history.
Well, we're going to talk about Oklahoma and a rich heritage, the name of the book that I brought. And if you wanted, you really could go through this book and talk about fashion as it changed on the pioneers and the Indians that came to Oklahoma and that sort of thing, but we won't do that today.
Next time.
Next time.
Well, this is an interesting book. It's by Odie Falk and William Welge. I knew Odie when I was teaching at Oklahoma State University, and he was teaching there too. And of course,
really?
Mr. Welge is with the Oklahoma Historical Society. And this book really does teach you a lot about Oklahoma history.
Well, it goes back over 100 years to what this area was like before the Trail of Tears and before the settlers came, and then leads on up into it. And the first part of the book, or two-thirds of the book, is about the heritage of Oklahoma. The last third is commercial to pay for the printing, I guess. And it talks about, it has features on OU and OSU and businesses in Oklahoma and that sort of thing. But the front part is really interesting for a dedicated historian. They would love it, absolutely. It's got wonderful sketches and photographs and pictures of art by Indian artists, and it even has John Walton's impeachment in 1923 and Alice Robertson being our first U.S. Congresswoman, and people like that, and Will Rogers, of course. But it's a more dedicated view of the heritage that developed as people came into the land and the land became developed. It even touches on the bombing in 1995 and the MAPS projects. So it really brings you up to date on where we are now.
But it focuses more on the historical aspect.
It focuses more on the historical aspect, and while I don't know either one of the authors, I've read other things by them, and of course that is their focus, is to make people aware of just how wonderful Oklahoma is and how lucky they are to live here.
And what a rich history we have.
Yes.
Thank you so much for bringing this book.
Well, thank you.
And come again.
I will.
With me now is Voncille Shipley. She is a native Oklahoman. She has written 2 books. She's here to talk about Land of Sun and Flowers. I almost said this land, but This Raw Red Land is actually the first book, and I'm going to ask what inspired you to write these books?
Well, I've wanted to write them nearly all of my life. Mainly, I wanted to tell the things that happened then and the way the life was, the way it really was, not the way that someone goes back and finds it.
Right. Not the way it's portrayed in, say, the musical Oklahoma. But
no, not at all.
But we're talking about the late 19th century, early 20th century
Yes.
in southern Oklahoma, actually around Ardmore and Healdton, right?
Yes, yes.
And now, did you have to do a lot of research before you set out to write these books?
Well, I did some. All the facts that I have in the book that are not part of the fiction are accurate, so far as I can tell. I did quite a bit of research on the Chickasaw Nation, and for instance, I checked newspapers to see what the price of cotton was in 1907, things like that,
Yeah.
and the wages that were paid.
Now, Land of Sun and Flowers is a sequel to This Raw Red Land.
Yes.
Which I understand was when the families first moved in and started trying to farm this
Yes.
area.
Mm-hmm. Yes, This Raw Red Land is set in 1907 and early 1908, and then Land of Sun and Flowers starts in 1908 through 1919.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you just make up the families that are in these stories, or
Mostly.
Your little biography says that you spent a lot of time listening to these people tell their tales.
They'd say, Voncille, go out and play.
And you'd say, no, this is so interesting.
Yes.
So were some of the things that you heard about included in your books?
Yes. For instance, the play parties that in the musical things that they did, the way they entertained themselves.
We're talking about a time when even if someone had a motor car, there weren't too many roads for them to be driving.
That's
on.
right. And in 1907, none of my characters had a motor car. Later on in the teens, they did.
Now, in Land of Sun and Flowers, there's a flood that cuts everybody off.
Now, that is true. That was the 1908 flood. And most of my research in that came from the newspapers, and I quote them in that. But it was the big flood down there.
Well, it sounded pretty horrendous because it did have the farm families pretty much isolated,
Yes.
unable to get somewhere. It makes you really think about this idea of going to the grocery store every day to get fresh food to eat, doesn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Because they were cut off. They not only had to worry about themselves, but also their farm animals and
their neighbors.
Yeah, Ben and Jed's family had some neighbors visit during that flood, didn't they?
Yes. Oh, that was fun making them up.
oh, okay. So they're made up. They were not.
Yes, they are certainly made up.
Because now Ben and Jed have some problems. They're the young men of the family.
Yes.
And Jed has been enjoying himself a little bit too much at the church socials, hasn't he?
Yes.
So your story is really as much about family conflicts, I think, as about the pioneer life. Although I think you bring that in very well. You get a nice feel for just how hard it was, how much you had to work just to get through the day.
That's right. It was all just survival. Although they didn't see it that way, they'd never known anything else.
Well, and I'm sure when they got a little bit of money, they could get really modern conveniences like I don't know if wringer washers had come in by this time or not. I remember my grandmother's wringer washer, but
no, they hadn't come in.
They hadn't come in by then. But you if you were an up and coming farm family, you had a pump. You didn't have to go down to the creek to get water.
That's right. You had water in the house,
and that.
That's a big thing.
Well, yes, as a matter of fact. Having gone camping, yes, that's a very big thing. But there were a number of things that I'm sure that they saw as modern conveniences that to us we can't believe that you had to bake your own bread. Unless you were really wealthy, you had to make your own clothes. You could buy cloth. You no longer had to weave your cloth. But you also had to grow most of the food you ate if you were a farmer.
Yes, you didn't go to town but about once a month, and that was to buy sugar perhaps, or
some salt or
salt,
something like that.
Something that you didn't raise.
But most of your social life really centered around your family, but also church, because you would go to church regularly, and there were church socials and that sort of thing as well.
Yes, that's right.
So, but there was still opportunity to get in trouble, I'm afraid.
Oh yes, so they could get the same as today.
Yeah. So now Jed does get into trouble. He has to marry a young girl who has had some problems, and but that's an opportunity that is really created for Ben, because both of them have been sweet on the same girl, haven't they?
Yes.
And the whole thing, I think, ends up being resolved. I'm not sure we can say all that happily, but the flu epidemic plays a role in all of this as well.
Yes, that was. We don't realize how severe that was. In fact, in my own family, my husband lost 2 members of his family. I lost 2 members of my family back in those days.
And that was, 1918, 1919, right at the end of...
Late 1918 and early 1919.
And it managed to sweep. It wasn't just something that happened on the eastern seaboard. It managed to move its way all the way through the country.
It was worldwide, I think, a pandemic, actually.
And I thought your portrayal of how people could handle it, because back then you couldn't go down to the local drugstore and even get cough medicine.
That's right. Your doctor you bought the medicine from your doctor.
If you were lucky enough to be able to get the doctor to come out and visit you, living in widespread farms like that, it must have been, my gosh.
Those doctors spent day and night on the road and sat up with the families.
Yeah, there was one incident where the doctor couldn't come right away because he was sitting up with a dying mother. So we are out of time, but I want to thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Voncille Shipley has been telling us about Land of Sun and Flowers and This Raw Red Land. You can find them at your library and your favorite bookstore.
Hi, I'm Donna Morris, Executive Director of your Metropolitan Library System. You know, experts tell us it's never too early to begin reading to a child. If you spend just 20 minutes a day reading to a child, you're not only building a bond that lasts a lifetime, but you're helping that child to prepare to learn how to read. Visit us at the Metropolitan Library System and let us help you select just the right books for you and your family. And be sure and visit our website at www.metrolibrary.org.
It's almanac time, and that means it must be Doug Benton sitting right next to me.
Finally, I get to be on the show today for a few minutes. Great.
You must have a date for us.
I have all kinds of dates for you today. January 25th, 1874 is the birth date of Somerset Maugham, a famous English novelist, short story writer, playwright who was born in Paris. Stories still repay reading. I recommend them highly. January 27th is the birthday of Lewis Carroll, creator of Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass.
Do you still recommend reading those?
Definitely, most definitely. The 27th is also the birthday of W.A. Mozart, famous composer, and yes, I recommend Mozart, yeah. And the 29th is the birthday of Thomas Paine. People may not remember Thomas Paine anymore, but he was the English, you're going to say something, go ahead.
Give me liberty or no, I'm sorry, that's wrong
as
one.
I say, people don't remember Thomas Paine.
Common sense.
Common sense. Probably as responsible for the American Revolution as anybody. Common Sense sold 500,000 copies.
My word. And then he went on, moved over to Paris and stirred up a little trouble in their...
spent some time in prison when he went back to Europe. Yes, he did.
Yes, he caused a little trouble there. Well, I have just one date. It's January 26th, 1802. Congress authorizes the formation of what becomes the Library of Congress. And so we all of us librarians have to say yay on that one as well.
On that one.
So you can check all of these things out at your local library and on the web at www.metrolibrary.org. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you again next time.